Okay, everyone, welcome to today's Happy Hips. My name is Prem Kaur, and it is with so much pleasure that I welcome each and every one of you in today's class. It means so much for me that you are here to share space with me and with one another to practice this ancient art of yoga this morning. This morning, I was thinking about a lot of things, as I usually do, and I always have this one thought that if I can think all of the thoughts that I have in the morning at the same time, what would happen? But one of the things that I was thinking was how my thoughts have actually changed. I remember when I was 14 or 15 years old, me and my best friend would be sitting together in school and we'd pass each other like notes. And our notes used to be quite ambitious. We'd create this like story of both of us growing up together and changing the world. And we were really enamored by, I think, TV shows and cartoons of all of these kids who were our age, and they were spies and they were superheroes and they were changing the world. I mean, even a dog was a superhero when I was growing up. I was like, why is it so hard for 15-year-old me to become a superhero? I wanted to change the world. I wanted to become a scientist, and I wanted to work in the Amazonian jungle to find cures for all of these diseases. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to change the world. But when I kept that with me throughout college. I kept that with me even after I graduated. I graduated into a recession, so that kind of went down the drain because I was like, how can I change the world if I can't even earn money? So I ended up immigrating here to Canada in 2013 so I could do that. When I moved here to Canada, I realized how adulting is so expensive and changing the world just went out the window. I just wanted to be able to earn enough money so I can pay my rent, I can buy my food, and I can just live and survive. My beginning salary was really not that great because it was a recession. I just needed to get whatever I could. And then eventually things began to progress in life. I met Jai, got married. We began to focus on settling down. And again, changing the world just was a long lost mythical part of my life. And it wasn't until I realized this morning how this idea began to shift and change in my mind. I totally let go and became unattached to the concept of me wanting to change the world. And then I began to focus on me, just focusing on surviving. But very, very recently, over the past, I would say 3-4 years, I actually have been focusing again on change, but instead of focusing on the world, I've been focusing on changing myself. Changing myself so I can become more peaceful, so I can become more blissful, so I can ride through the waves of life with more ease and bliss. And through that, I have been working only for me. And when I work for me, I've been noticing so many people saying that they have been learning from that. And I'm not saying that I am the best. I mean, I do think a lot. We all do. I mean, who doesn't think here? We all think. That's why we're here, to relax that and to calm our mind down. And one of the things that I do want to bring your attention to is how your thoughts have changed. Perhaps you had some ambition that you had when you were younger, and now it's completely different, but aren't you happier? Aren't you more grounded? And one of the final nail into the master of work that I had to deal with this, to change from I want to change the world to I want to change me, it actually has so much to do with yoga. Because that shift happened when I began to seriously practice yoga in my life. When I was seriously practicing yoga in my life, I realized that in my world, I am the main character. And in your world, you are your main character. So if you can focus on making yourself more blissful, more at ease, how will your world change? Will your world change? if you are more relaxed, more peaceful, what do you think? Do you think your world will change? Because our perception is our world. If your mind is calm, if your mind is at bliss, and if your internal state of being is blissful, won't your world become blissful? So isn't that changing the world? It's changing your world. And that takes so much pressure off. And this is what the Yoga Sutra actually teaches us. One of my favorite Yoga Sutras, and I may have said it over and over again here in this class, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, which is Sutra number 2, the very first chapter. And there's many interpretations of the Yoga Sutras, but one of the interpretations that literally shook my world, changed it, and began to make me focus more in my internal world was this: stop focusing on changing the world. No one can change the world. The world is going to be the way that it is, no matter how hard you work or how less you work. There's always going to be politics. There's always going to be natural disasters. There's always going to be something happening. You can't control it. What makes you think that you can control something way beyond yourself? But who can you control? What can you control? You. You are the only person that you can control. So if you focus only on your internal dialogue and work on to shift that into more of a balanced, neutral perspective, you are changing your world, and that is enough. And that is enough. And if you take a look on a bigger scale of a picture, by you focusing on your own inner bliss and only dedicating yourself to your own inner bliss, people notice that and they will become inspired to do the same. So it is world changing, but in a very subtle way that you don't have any control over. So with that, everyone, please take a tall and comfortable seat. Roll your shoulders back, open yourself up to a deeper breath. And as you breathe deeply here, become more and more aware of what is happening within your mind. Become aware of the space between your thoughts. Bring your hands to meet at heart center. Take a deep breath in. Sigh everything out. And inhale to one round of Om. Bow down to your fingertips to give yourself gratitude for your practice and gratitude for being here for yourself today. Lower your hands down on top of your thighs. Let's take a few deep breaths here. And as you breathe deeply, roll your shoulders back, push your heart forward, look forward here. Exhale, round your back, tuck your tailbone under, chin towards your chest. Now bring both of your legs out in front of you. And scoop the flesh from underneath your sit bones. Both legs are out here in front of you. Bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh. And this is drills to improve your posture in Sukhasana or lotus pose. So slowly hug your ankle towards your belly. And with the palm of your hand, draw your knee down towards the earth. And I want this to be movements in centimeters. Don't force your knee to go more than it feels crampy. Just gently push it down. And then over time, perhaps you'll be able to do some more deeper movements here, driving your knee down. And this is a really nice opening in your hip joint. Do this for a few more moments here. Now release your leg right in front of you. Bring your opposite ankle onto your opposite thigh. And one side will for sure feel really, really awkward than the other. Just breathe through it, knowing that both sides of our body are not meant to be symmetrical. The pose that we're going to focus on in today's class is Malasana Yogi Squat. So these little drills here that we're doing with your knee will help us to move through Malasana with more ease today. Malasana, so I can give you some background here, stretches our thighs, our hips, our groin, our ankles, and even our core, our torso. And it even tones our abs. So our abs is very much integrated with our hip strength as well. And it also improves the function of our colon and our reproductive organs. Honestly, any of the Happy Hips classes, anytime you focus on hip openers and hip strengtheners, it really works to improve the function of all of the organs here in our pelvis that our pelvis holds. Slowly release your leg out in front of you, shake out your ankle, shake out your knees, and slowly make your way into a tabletop position here. Your hands are outer shoulder width apart, your knees are hip distance apart. And let's do a few rounds of cat and cows here to warm up our spine. Roll your shoulders back, heart forward, pelvis tilts up. Cow pose, exhale, round your back, belly comes up towards your spine. Curl your spine up towards the sky for cat pose. Move now through cat and cow using your own breath. And slowly make your way back into center here. Now raise your right leg up towards the sky as if you've opened out a door, so towards the side. Good. Your knee is bent. Now, driving with your thigh bone, drive your knee into circles. And now the opposite direction. Now, straighten out your leg and move it towards the side. Place it towards the ground. So your leg is kickstanded out. From here, walk your hands a little bit more forward and begin to pulse your hips forward and back. 3 more times here. Slowly bring your leg all the way back into a tabletop position. Removing any kinks here that we may have encountered, you can circle your hips into circles here. And whenever you're ready, raise your left leg up towards the sky. Bend your knee. Open your knee out like a door towards the left side. Bend your knee and drive your knee into circles using your thigh muscles 3 times. And then the opposite direction 3 times. Now, whenever you're ready, straighten out your leg out towards the side. Place your foot down onto the ground. Walk your hands a little bit forward and begin to pulse your hips forward and back 5 times. And whenever you're ready, bring your leg back into center. Enjoy some hip circles here in this tabletop position. And remember our intention, which is to be aware. Be aware of what changes and accept. Be neutral to that. Wonderful. From here, bring your hands outer shoulder width apart. So bring them back underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, raise your knees off the ground, coming into our very first downward facing dog. Walk out your feet here. Look forward. Walk your feet so that they're outside your pinky fingers. Your heels are in, toes are out, feet are as wide as your mat, and slowly sit your sit bones down for our very first Malasana. Roll your shoulders back, hands at heart center, push your elbows out against your knees. This is our resting position throughout class. I recommend for everyone to have a block or 2 stacked beside them so that if you ever feel tired, you can always put your sit bones onto the block here to give yourself that rest. And keep it there throughout the rest of your class. 3 breaths here. One last breath. Take a deep breath in, hands out in front. Hug your core in and come all the way up to stand. Raise your hands up. Exhale, hands out in front. Push your sit bones back and now sit halfway into the middle of Malasana. Keep your legs in this way. Place your hands outside of your knees. Now use the pressure of your hands to pull your knees in, but strengthen your thighs, your inner thighs, so that they push your knees out. So it's like that game that I used to play when I was a kid, that magic trick. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. No? I'll tell you later. Push it in, knees push out, and release. Let's do this 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hands out in front. Rise to stand. Exhale, half squat. Let's do this 5 times. 1, 2, 3. Sit deeper. 4. Last one. Malasana. Hands all the way down. Sitting on your block if you need to. Breathe deeply here. Now, push your elbows out a little bit more against your knees and begin to sway side to side. If you are in your block, that's okay. You can sway on your block, that's fine. 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Making our Malasana more of an active stretch here. Hands out in front, using your mind to draw your knees out even more. Bring your fingertips down towards the ground. Now, slowly push your hips all the way up towards the sky. Straighten out your legs. Walk out your heels here. Sway side to side. Now from here, bend your knees, biceps by your ears, root to rise, raise your hands overhead. Exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Roll your shoulders back, palms facing forward. Interlock your fingers, place them on top of your right thigh. Come into a squat. Slowly float your left leg all the way towards the back of the room. So your back foot is raised up towards the sky, balancing posture. Bring your knee towards your chest with control, slow, and kick it back. Knee to chest, and kick back. 8 more times, just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Scissor your thighs if you feel that instability. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Kick it back and slowly place your foot back towards the ground. Your back foot is at a 45-degree angle pointing forward. Your front foot is parallel to the long edge of your mat. Bend into your front knee. Raise your hands all the way overhead. Warrior 1. Our hips should be nice and square so you can feel your hips becoming square towards the back of the room. Breathe in very, very deeply. Bend into your front knee a little bit more if you can. Well done. Good work. Breathe deeply. Draw your shoulder blades in. Hug your navel in. Create space in your sit bones. Tuck your tailbone under. And feeling that awareness spreading from your heart all the way up towards the sky through your hands. Settle down here. One more breath. Lower your hands down behind your sit bones. Draw your hands all the way down, allowing your heart to bloom, to open. Keep your front knee bent. Good. Now straighten your front knee and slowly hinge all the way forward. Pausing halfway. Look forward here. Square your hips in this moment and fold it down completely. Lower your hands down to frame your front leg. And rest your upper body over your legs here for pyramid posture. Three more breaths here, just like this. Now from here, look forward and slowly float your left leg up towards the sky. We won't be here too long. Float your knee towards your chest and place your foot all the way down. Walk your feet so that your feet are out, heels are in, as the same width as your mat. And slowly sit all the way down, Malasana. Push your elbows out against your knees, sitting down on some blocks if you need here. But we won't be here for too long, only 3 more breaths. And why we're here again? Well, this class is about Malasana, but we're here again in this moment so that you can feel how that balancing, how that strengthening has allowed your hips to become more and more open. Bring your hands out in front of you. Hug your hands towards one another. Draw your knees away from one another. Let's create this pulsating action. Hands come in and knees come out. So it's like as if you're holding a giant ball. So if you want to hold down onto a block for like support and to give yourself that visualization, hug the block with your hands. Pull your knees apart. And release. Hug and pull your knees apart. Hug and pull your knees apart. One more time, hug and pull your knees apart. Slowly bring your hands all the way up towards the sky. Straighten out your knees and come all the way up to stand. Lower your hands down to heart center. Interlock your fingers, place it on top of your left thigh this time. Float your right leg back and up towards the sky. Heel comes up towards the sky here. Moving for our strengthening position on the other side. Bring your knee towards chest and float back. Kick back, knee to chest. Let's do this for a total of 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, sorry, I said 8 times. Okay, lower your leg all the way back down. Slip of mind. Bring your leg all the way towards the back of the room. Thank you for giving me those angry stares. Otherwise, I probably would have kept going. Bend into your front knee, and your back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Make sure your front foot is parallel to the long edges of the mat. Whenever you're ready, square your hips, raise your hands up in front and overhead. Settling for our very second warrior 2 on the other side. Breathe in deeply. Open your heart with your breath. Draw your shoulder blades in. Hug your navel in. And scissor your thighs in towards one another. Allow your sit bones to move back and apart here in this posture. Tuck your tailbone under, feeling a contraction all the way from your perineum up towards your belly button. And raise your hands up even more. Feel from your heart emanating that change of awareness. Settle here. Lower your hands down behind you, interlock your hands, and raise your heart up to bloom here. Draw your hands all the way down. Straighten your front knee, square your hips, and hinge forward halfway. Pause. And fold completely. Lower your fingers down to tent on the earth, or you can also bring the earth closer towards you using some blocks. And slowly float your back foot up towards the sky. Bring your knee towards your chest and thread it through, coming back into stand. Walk your feet out so your feet are in Malasana position, mat width apart, heels in, toes out. And slowly sit all the way down back into your Malasana yogi squat. From here, raise your hands up towards the sky. Exhale, twist towards the right. Place your right hand or your left hand on your right knee and look towards your right shoulder. You can place a block behind you to rest your back hand down on. That's totally fine. Or for more strength, you can curl your right hand behind the small of your back. Keep this twist here. Now this time, place your left hand on the inside of your right knee. Push your right knee away as you twist towards the right. Come back in towards center, hands overhead. Inhale, exhale, twist towards the left. You can curl your left hand behind the small of your back and look towards your left shoulder. Now, from here, push your left knee away from you with your right hand. 1, and I'll make sure I count properly this time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Back into Malasana Yogi Squat. Bring your hands down onto the mat. Walk your feet back into tabletop position. Bring your knees wide, untuck your toes, rest your sit bones down onto your heels, rest your heart down for a very well-deserved child's pose. Slowly come back into a tabletop position and come into a downward facing dog here. Take this moment to walk out your heels, breathe deeply, tone your thighs towards one another, which is an energetic movement. Turn your sit bones up towards the sky and apart, tuck your tailbone under. And remember our intention of awareness, being aware, being the witness of what is happening into your mind, into your life, into your body. Look forward. Walk your feet forward back into Malasana. Bring your hands now out wide, out into a T shape. We'll do this very, very slowly, very gently. Take a deep breath in, twist towards the right. Come back in towards center, twist towards the left. Back into center, right side. Let's do this 5 more times. 2, 3, 4, Last round, 5. And come back in towards center whenever you're done. Hands at heart center. For everyone who has a block here, you can use a block to keep the earth closer towards you. Place your hands at heart center and twist or move your body in such a way that you tap your knee down onto the block or onto the earth. So tap it down, use a block if you need, and then the other leg. Five more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Come back all the way into center. Place your hands down onto the earth. Walk your feet back into downward facing dog once more. Bring your knees down onto the mat. Coming into a tabletop position. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Tuck your toes here. Walk your hands forward until your hands can't walk forward anymore without moving your lower body. Your hips still are stacked above your knees. Lower your forehead only down towards the mat. Forehead and your chest. That's good, Akansha. Good work. Now, slowly walk your hands back into tabletop position. Kick your right leg out towards the side as if you've opened out a door. Step your right foot towards the outside of your right hand, moving it forward. Walk your right foot so it is on a 45-degree angle. Allow it to come onto the pinky side edges of your foot. And slowly walk your hands a little bit more forward, forward, forward until you can rest on your elbows. Bring the earth closer towards you if you need, using the blocks here. And even as you are here in this resting lizard position, you'd be happy to know no more Malasanas after this. But bring your awareness to the fact of how open your lizard pose may feel. Another pose name that I have invented for Malasana is double lizard, because both of your legs are forward. That's me and my cheesy yoga jokes. Enjoy a deep breath here. Gather the mat between your right heel and your left knee. And rest your heart down a little bit more. Even here, as we're easing up towards the end of our practice, feel that sense of awareness, being aware of your body coming into complete rest, moving towards a softer side of our class. Walk yourself back onto your hands if you are on your elbows, and slowly step your right leg back into tabletop position. Enjoy some hip circles here, any little movements that you feel would be received well by your body right now. Be aware of what your body's asking for. Honor that. Listen. And whenever you're ready, raise your left leg out towards the sky, towards the side, as if you've opened out a door. Drive your thigh bone up a little bit more and step forward into lizard stance on the other side. Your left foot is at a 45-degree angle. Allow it to come out onto the pinky side of your edge of your foot so your sole lifts. Walk your hands forward, come onto your elbows if you like, and rest here in lizard pose on the opposite side. Enjoying that deepest breath. Enjoying what it feels like to gather the mat between your heel and your knee. And then being completely aware as you press your elbows or your hands even more firmly into the earth. Three more breaths like this. Slowly come back onto your hands and step your left leg back. Widen out the distance between your knees, even wider than before. Settle your hip bones down towards your heels, coming into a child's pose here once more. Your hands are at the front, at the top edge of your mat. Take one deep breath here. And walk your hands towards the right. Walk your hands back in towards center. And then towards the left. Slowly walk your hands back into center and moving back into a tabletop position. Walk your knees so that they're together and your shins are together. Untuck your toes and place your sit bones down on top of your shins. Walk your hands up onto your thighs, coming into Virasana or hero pose. If sitting on your shins is feeling a little bit much for you today, you're welcome to place a towel or a block in between your shins to help you sit here. Virasana feels extra special, especially after a lot of hip opening. It can feel quite joyful to see what the opposite feels like. So bring your awareness to that. Staying here in Virasana, inhale, raise your hands up towards the sky. Exhale, twist towards the right. Place your right hand over your left, or your left hand over your right thigh. Look behind you. Take a deep breath in and twist a little bit more. Inhale, hands come up overhead. Exhale, twist towards the opposite side. Remember here, be aware, especially when we work on both sides. Notice what comes up. Perhaps sometimes we often have judgments towards the right or the left side of our body. And who are we to say which side is better? Each side of our body has its own strengths. Each side of our body is beautiful in its own way. Take a deep breath in, raise your hands up towards the sky. And release. Bring your hands back down on top of your thighs. Now from here, slowly bring your legs out in front of you. And walk yourself up a little bit more up towards the top edge of your mat. Connect the soles of your feet towards one another, coming into a cobbler's position. Grabbing onto your ankles, roll your shoulders back, heart forward, look up. Exhale, walk your hands towards the top edge of your mat, folding here completely. I invite you to experience moving the edges of your limits with your breath. With each exhale, see if you can walk your fingertips a little bit more towards the front edge of your mat. Or if you could experience a fold more deeper than your last. We'll be here for 3 more breaths in this way. Slowly walk yourself back up to rise. Keep your cobbler's position in this way and slowly lean back until you land on your elbows. And slowly come all the way down towards the ground. Raise your hands overhead and grab onto your elbows for supine cobbler here. Your feet are still connected, knees are still out. From here, close your knees like a book, hug your knees close towards you, and bring your hands out into a T shape. Lower both of your knees down towards the right side. Slowly bring your knees back into center now and lower your knees down towards the left side. And here, feeling more aware than before of the spaciousness that is in your mind, in your body, in your hips. Hug your knees, bring them back into center. And grab onto the pinky side edges of your feet. Raise the soles of your feet up towards the sky. And rock yourself side to side here. Alternative hand positions can be behind your ankle, behind your knees. Allow your knees to become soft. And slowly, one by one, place both of your legs down onto the mat. Your feet are wide. Palms are wide. Walk your shoulder blades in towards one another, allowing your heart to open up and lift. Relax your heart all the way down towards the ground. Flex your feet here and allow your feet to flop out. Here in Shavasana, begin to watch and witness your awareness beginning to melt into all directions as you go deeper and deeper into Shavasana. Slowly bring your awareness back into your body. Wriggle your toes, your fingers, and add some very gentle movements to your limbs. Awakening and being aware of the awakening of each and every part of your body. Be aware how it feels to awaken your limbs. Be aware of your breath. Be aware of what has changed from now in comparison to the beginning of class. Slowly lower your knees down towards the right side of your body. Slowly tense your fingertips onto the ground and push yourself up from the earth to come onto your seat. Today's class was about exploring our awareness. And it was about exploring how, when we become more and more aware, how neutral we can feel we are. When times get tough, when times get challenging, when sometimes your yoga instructor forgets their count. Being neutral throughout life is one of the most best experiences that any yoga practitioner can ever learn from their yoga practice. Because it teaches them that life, similar to a yoga class, has its challenges and it has its restorative points. But when you move through it with neutral mind, and when you move through it with awareness of what is arising, what can you learn from the situation that you've never seen before, that you've never realized before? When we incorporate this into our daily life, this is where we become the light of inspiration that the world needs to see. Because the world is already in you. We don't need to go about changing the world. All we need to do is to work on ourselves. The world is a mirror of you. Bring your hands to meet at heart center. Take a deep breath in. Sigh everything out. Inhale to one round of Om to close. Bow down to your fingertips to give yourself gratitude for this awareness and gratitude for this practice. Gratitude for your body, mind, and soul. Namaste. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to teach and guide. You are all my teachers. Thank you for guiding me. And I hope to see you all next week. Have a wonderful rest of your week, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prem.
Thank you, Mamta. Thank you.
Bye-bye.